Hi folks, Toad Hancock's here with Visordown.com, and today we are going to have a little chat about electric motorcycles. Surrounding me here, I have got two of the supposed kings of the electric sports bike or naked world in the form of Harley-Davidson's new LiveWire and the Zero SRS. So whether or not you like the electric future, which is some say is coming, some say isn't, manufacturers are getting behind them. Harley have had the LiveWire program in motion for quite a while now. Zero are probably the most established electric motorcycle brand on the planet, selling full-size premium electric motorcycles. And it's not just them. Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, they've all got electric programs going on, whether or not you know about it or not, because you don't want to be the one manufacturer that is left behind when and if this electric future does become reality, to have to sort of play catch up to the rest of the gang. So what are these two bikes? Well, obviously the SRS is a sports bike, it is a fared bike, but it's kind of a crossover as well because it has the ergonomics of a comfortable tourer or a naked. The LiveWire though is a completely different machine. It is an out and out performance naked in my mind, with no compromises for anything other than being the best electric motorcycle that it can be. Price wise, as with all electric motorcycles, they aren't cheap when compared to a petrol powered equivalent. The Harley comes in at £28,995, I believe, in the form that it's here, and the Zero comes in at £21,000 there or thereabouts. You are going to get a £1,500 kickback from the government for buying an eco-friendly or electric vehicle, but still, that's a lot of money to shell out. I mean, you could have a decent CBR 1000RR SP and a funky set of leathers and a new lid for the cost of the LiveWire, and you know, you could probably get some change out of the SRS too. So on paper these bikes are very, very closely matched. The Zero here has got a claimed 110 bhp while the LiveWire has 105. The Zero produces 140 pound-foot of torque and the LiveWire produces 78, nearly 80 pound-foot of torque. As with any electric motor, you get it all at zero basically, so all the torque is there all of the time. You've got no clutch, no gears to worry about. So off the line, any electric motorcycle is going to give any 1000cc sports bike a real run for its money, up to about 75 miles an hour. Claimed top speeds of these bikes are also equally similar. The Zero has got a sort of around about 125 mile an hour top speed, and the LiveWire again is 120 mph. The batteries do differ though, and when you see these two bikes in the flesh side by side, you can see the LiveWire has got a much bigger, more substantial battery pack. It's 15.5 kilowatt hours as opposed to the 14.4 kilowatt hours of the Zero. Both bikes have got a full suite of electronics, including leaning ABS, so they've got an IMU controlled ABS and traction control systems as well. They've both got TFT dashes, although the Harley's is a classier looking item and it is a touchscreen TFT as well. And both bikes get cruise control also. They are also suspended by shower suspension, so we've got shower balance free rear cushion on the LiveWire, and we've got shower 43mm forks. You've got similar forks on the Zero, but we've got a slightly different rear shock absorber setup. Braking for the Zero is taken care of by Zhejiang double discs up front, which are kind of a Brembo-like caliper, whereas the LiveWire gets proper Brembos front and rear. The rear brake on the Zero though is lacking in bite and feel and power. It's a single disc caliper, which for a bike that's over 200 kilograms is a little bit substandard if you ask me. So what are they like to ride? Well, riding experience of any electric motorcycle is very different to riding a petrol powered bike. Both of these are probably two of the best handling electric bikes on the market. The Zero is slightly lighter than the LiveWire, and that does make itself felt at low speed, but once you get out onto a fast twisty B road, this is an absolute beast on the road. It is a really, really sweet handling bike. It's got these funky Harley-Davidson Michelin tyres, which have kind of been built for it, which no doubt help, but they're super grippy. They heat up really, really nicely, and they just make riding this a really, really pleasurable experience. The LiveWire, like I said, it is a little bit light around town, but the suspension setup and the geometry of the bike, it doesn't feel quite as planted and stable as the LiveWire. It might be because it's a little bit lighter as well, but it feels a little bit more flighty, and under really heavy braking, if you're carrying lean angle, you can feel the back end start to sort of wiggle around as it's sort of finding the limit. It's not a problem, but it's just something to bear in mind. I mean, like I said, riding an electric bike is totally different to riding a petrol bike. You have to adjust the way that you ride it, you have to adjust with the questions that you ask of the bike in order to get the most out of it. And always use all of the torque that the bike's got to get you down the road as quick as you can. Comfort wise, there is one clear winner in this section, and it is the Zero. It's got these swept back handlebars, it's got a really relaxed riding position, although the seat is a little bit on the firm side. The seat to peg ratio, the seat to peg distance, I should say, is very good, and overall you've got a very neutral and very relaxed rider triangle when you're out and about on it. The Harley, on the other hand, is a much more focused machine in my mind, and that makes itself felt through the riding position. You feel like you're sort of leaning forwards all the time. It's not heavily wristy, you've got handlebars that sweep back to meet you a little bit, but you are definitely feel like you are sat on the Harley rather than in the Zero, which kind of comes up to give you a bit of a hug every time that you get on it. So performance wise, with BHP and torque and outright top speed and weight being fairly similar, you would think that these two bikes would feel very much the same on the road, but they don't. The Harley is an absolute beast in terms of outright acceleration, and it just has got endless amounts of shove. The Zero gets off the line very quickly, but it seems to run out of puff at about 75 mph, and it will sort of inch its way closer and closer to its claimed top speed. The Harley-Davidson, it doesn't seem to have any chill. You get almost the same amount of acceleration and the same amount of thrust at about 85 miles an hour when you crack the throttle open as you do at 30 miles an hour. It's a very impressive trick. I don't know whether it's the batteries, the way the motor, you know, the build of the motor, but it's a really impressive bit of kit, and very eye-opening the first time that you get on it, flick the thing into sports mode on the dash and actually feel what electric power can do. This is a really tough question because we've got two bikes that are very close to each other on paper and specs and everything else, but then they're so far apart on price. I mean, there's £10,000 between these two motorcycles. It does show the Harley-Davidson feels and looks and rides like a much more premium product, whereas the Zero, it kind of feels a little bit more like a fared commuter bike. The fit and finish of it isn't quite as good, but that really is Harley-Davidson's knowledge and experience of building motorcycles of any propulsion method that's kind of shining through on that one. I mean, I honestly think the Harley-Davidson LiveWire is the best electric motorcycle that you can go out and buy today. It's the most complete motorcycle. It's got the best handling of any of them. Probably the only other electric bike that comes close to the way that this handles is the Energica, either the Evo or the Eva or the Ego. And it just feels right. I do also believe everything that the Harley says about how far it can go. I rode this thing back from Gloucester the other day to Coventry, which is around about sort of 75 miles. I went the back way through Oxford and Evesham. And I started off riding quite sensibly and quite calmly, and then I realised that the range wasn't dropping quite as quickly as I assumed it would, and I didn't have that instantaneous range anxiety that you get when you're riding an electric bike. So I thought, sod it, I'll just go for it and I'll just gun it and I'll see how far I can get. I've got my charge card on me. If I need to find a charge point, I'll pull over and I'll charge it up. And I could actually ride this for nearly 100 miles like a petrol powered motorcycle, and it wasn't going to leave me stranded. I came back to Coventry, I still had about 25% left in the battery, and I wasn't taking it easy. I was pushing the bike as fast as I wanted to on the roads that I was riding, as fast as I thought it could go. The Zero, though, I have done motorway journeys on it and I have range tested it, and we couldn't get anywhere near Zero's claimed motorway range of around about 80 miles. Whether or not that was climatic conditions, it was quite a blustery and windy day, I don't know, but we managed 60 and I've got about 10% battery left, and if it hadn't been for the fact that I could charge the bike up when I got to my destination, I'd have been completely screwed. In my mind, the clear winner is the LiveWire. To get the premium feel and the premium look, the premium performance and the premium range of this bike, you are going to have to pay a premium price tag, and that is around about £30,000. Look, just to sum it up, electric bikes, they will get bigger, they will get better, and they will become the norm one day. Whether I see that in my lifetime or your lifetime, I truly don't know. But these two bikes are very, very different, and the way I look at it, this is where electric bikes are now. And the LiveWire almost feels like where electric bikes will be in 5 to 10 years time. But it's almost like that step has almost been too big. And if Harley-Davidson had just reined it in a little bit and given us 50% of what this bike is in a more cost-effective package, I reckon it'd be an absolute seller. I hope you liked that video. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe and the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of Visordown's latest videos. For all the latest news, reviews and motorcycle features, get yourself over to Visordown.com. Cheers, folks.